I do love that music.
What do you say? What do you love?
I'm saying I do like that music.
Yeah, I know.
Gets you
Hello,
pumped.
everyone.
All right. Welcome to Wednesday night, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I hear there's rioting in London. Supposedly they're just not happy with Starfleet Academy, and they're all asking for Star Trek Legacy.
I've tried to put the fires out, and they're not listening.
No one's
You
listening.
You even put on your captain's uniform to do it too. I mean, they should have listened to you. Oh, sorry, Commander. I missed the I missed the 3 pips instead of 4.
Last year at DragonCon, I was wearing my TNG outfit, and I've got the bald head with the side hair, and everybody was going Captain, and I kept on correcting them for a while, going no, there are 3 pips on my collar, and then I went screw it, and I went and got a 4th pip, put it on, and I just roll with it. If people think I'm trying to cosplay Picard, just let them think it.
God, I was yeah. We've been today. I've been working on VFX and
Being a busy bee.
Yeah, been busy with Axanar stuff this afternoon.
Awesome.
Mark's back at the edit. Mark was in LA for about a month, and so he was in front of. So we were getting VFX, but he wasn't being able to edit them in and everything. So anyway, right now we're working on everything, and so things are going well. What can I say?
Awesome. Anything you can divulge?
Nothing I have on the top. I mean, and nothing new. I mean, we're getting more shots, and we're going, just back and forth with the VFX team and previs, like what Mark wants and what's being delivered to us. So there's a little back and forth going, but it's all good, and we've paid off a bunch of the VFX work, so that's good. Yeah, and then Dana's working hard. He's working hard on the lower thirds. He's working hard on backgrounds that are going to be composited. I've shown a bunch of people the background he's done for the Klingon homeworld, for the Hall of Immortals. That looks really good. I finally cut him off, and I said, okay, enough. Because he was like, well, what if I do this? I said, you know what? That background. It looks great. Move on to the next one. Because
he's a perfectionist.
Basically, there's 3 backgrounds. There's Klingon homeworld, there's Surak Station, and then there's Starbase 1. So let's get those knocked out, and then it's really up to the composite. We get the compositing done, and then we get the lower thirds, and then they get color graded, and we're just waiting for VFX. But it's all pretty good. It's all and so yeah, it's exciting. It's pretty exciting.
Looking forward to it. But yeah, I know Dana. He's a perfectionist, so of course he wants to add a little bit more and a little bit more. He's the reason why the bridge looks so damn good.
Yeah, well, he had years to work on that. So
yeah,
with you, so you guys could iron the kinks up. But anyway, so how are you guys doing? Everything good?
Yeah, I didn't notice a check in my mail. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding.
I should check. I don't know if I stopped.
That's really weird. I got a bill from Alec in my mailbox. I don't.
Oh, you got a bill? Well, then,
I got a bill.
Yeah, that figures.
What did I send you a bill for?
I don't know. I just
we're just rolling with the joke.
Let's see what did.
I'm actually okay. What a good
Deadpool
film!
And Wolverine has already, in less than 2 weeks, made $879 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I completely believe it. I was awestruck by it, and there's a couple of cameos in there. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. There's a couple of cameos in there that completely threw me. I'm like, whoa! Did not expect that.
Yeah, let's see where.
And I've got a new appreciation for Like a Prayer. The version that they used in the film, it's powerful. It is fantastic. And unfortunately, Madge has blocked it from the official soundtrack. Unfortunately, she's bringing out her own best of album, and she doesn't want to cut into the sales of that.
How did Avatar: The Way of Water raised $2.3 million. How did they?
2.3 million or 2.3 billion?
2.3 billion. I'm sorry, billion.
Oh, right. Okay.
2,320. I didn't even know it was in the theaters.
I
mean, everybody went crazy for it because I fell asleep twice. Look, I don't fall asleep during movies. I fell asleep twice during the first Avatar movie. Like, I do not like those movies. Like, I'm not like, if you like them and you like the visual, like those visual effects and stuff like that, like if that is enough to engross you in that movie, fantastic. I'm very happy you're happy. But like for me, it's like, man, I think it looks stellar, but that's it. Like the story's just kind of like, oh, okay, another eco terrorist storyline. Okay, here we go. You know, like it didn't keep me. So it was gorgeous, and then I didn't even see the second one. I'm like, screw it. I don't need that cash grab.
Here's the top 10 movies, which some of them are surprises. Avatar 2.9 billion, Avengers Endgame 2.8 billion, Avatar Way of Water 2.3 billion, Titanic 2.26 billion.
That's adjusted for inflation, right?
No, these are not adjusted for inflation.
Oh wow. Okay.
These are like, yeah. Force Awakens 2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity War 2 billion. Spider-Man No Way Home, it comes in at number 7, 1.9 billion. I mean, that's a surprise. I mean,
that one hit big. I mean, that one was huge.
Yeah, I guess so. That I'm sure a lot had to do with having all the Spider-Mans in it.
Oh yeah.
Jurassic World 1.7 billion.
That one was a surprise for me. I knew that Jurassic. I mean, I knew Jurassic Park was big, but I'm like, I didn't think it was 1.7 billion big.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the first Jurassic World or one of the sequels?
No, the first Jurassic World.
Lion King 1.6 billion. And number 10, you will never guess number 10. Inside Out 2.
Yeah. I was about to say Inside Out 2 is also
people went nuts for it.
Yeah, people went gangbusters for Inside Out 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Everybody I know that's got kids that are old enough to go to what we call cinema here.
Way
they were there.
The first one.
They were there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah,
but yeah, I can understand why Jurassic World made so much money, because there are so many fans of Jurassic Park, especially the original one from 1993, myself included, who wanted to go and see this because the glimpses that we saw in the trailer were a fully functional theme park, which is something that Hammond wanted but never got to realize. And that reveal when he opens up the balcony doors of the hotel room and you've just got the park laid out in front of you, it's like my eyes moistened a little because it's finally, Hammond's vision has finally been made real in the cinema sense. So yeah, I can understand why Jurassic World made so much money.
Yeah, Donnie points out that Alyssa Ogawa, who's Nurse Ogawa, who's portrayed by Patty Yasutaki, passed yesterday from cancer. She had been suffering from a rare form of lymphoma for a while, from what I read. So
it's
Michelle Evans saw Deadpool and Wolverine, loved it. That's very cool.
It's
there's
brilliant.
Just so much love in that movie. I think that's why,
absolutely.
There's just so much like love that goes into those characters. And I don't know if I said this on this podcast last week or not, but I'm like, if you go into this movie thinking it's going to be a MCU movie, it's not going to be that. Yeah, I got exactly what I wanted out of it, which was it was a eulogy to the Fox universe, the Fox movies and stuff like that. That's what I wanted. That's what I got. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah. Yes. And then
my friend, the friend that I went to go and see it with, he very, very rarely makes noises when you're watching a film with him, unless it's, at home in front of the TV and it's something that we've both watched before. And even I heard him say a couple of times, Fluff, yes.
Fluff, yes. Wow,
You know,
not even the F word.
No, not even the F word. He doesn't swear that much.
Oh.
But yeah, absolutely. He blurted out several times, not expletive ridden exasperations, but yeah, he was really impressed by it, and he came out. Normally, we'll come out of the cinema, and he'll start deconstructing it and going, "That was good, but I wasn't so happy about this." Not one thing about it he didn't find good.
I've got nitpicks on it, but I mean, like, overall, it was good. Like, it was fantastic. I gave it, I think, like a 9. Like, I don't give half points, but I think I gave it like a 9.5. Like, I don't do half points. I'm like, I hate half points when people say 9.5 or 8.5. Like, it's either a 7 or an 8. It's either an 8 or a 9. Like,
yeah.
But I couldn't give it that 10. But if just the 1 or 2 little nitpicks weren't there, I could have given it a full-on 10. But
yeah, it's a full-on 10 for me. Didn't have a single problem with it. So many laughs. It was a perfect Deadpool, but also a perfect Wolverine film.
Oh yeah, and the fight choreography, fantastic.
Yeah,
that the way that they use the fight choreography and the fact that these guys heal from all their, and it's actually funny because Kevin, like, they went in with a rough draft of the movie. I was reading this earlier. They went in with a rough draft of the movie with Kevin Feige, and they said, okay, there's no way all this is making it into the movie. And like, because a lot of the stuff, all stuff against Disney and Marvel and all those things, like, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna tag these just because we're probably gonna have to take these out, but let's put them in anyway and see what he thinks. He loved them all. He loved them all. The one about the MC, the one at the MCU being a low point, the one about cocaine. Like, Feige thought it was funny. Like, he thought he laughed the whole time, and I don't think he really told them to change much at all about the movie.
Which is good, because the movie would have suffered without all of those jokes. It was fantastic. And of course, the permanently offended are already going at it because they make some gay jokes.
Oh, please, get out of here. You know what?
Yeah,
Deadpool's omnisexual. That means he will make a sexual reference or sex anything.
Yeah.
Like,
and he has.
Oh, yes, he has.
He has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can go after it all they want. They're not going to win that fight.
Yeah, no, it's listen, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I told Crystal, it was interesting that there was an interview with Kevin Feige where they were talking about who the anchor people in the different universes.
Oh no.
And so I've got, if it was the interviewer said that Tony Stark was the anchor person in 616, and Feige, and it was a little confusing. Feige didn't say anything about it, but I'm like, well, if that's the case, that means 616 is dying because it doesn't have an anchor person unless the Wolverine.
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Yeah, unless Wolverine is the anchor person. And I said to Crystal, I said, Peter's the anchor person.
Actually, I was reading theories and articles on that. So, actually, Kevin Feige did come out and say, I don't know if it was in that same interview, but he was joking around saying that Madison from She-Hulk, the one party girl or whatever from She-Hulk, she's the anchor being from 616. He was obviously joking. Actually, I just read and I don't know if this is completely legit, but I read what the script of Kang Dynasty was going to be. And yes, Tony Stark was the anchor being. And what was going to happen was the universe was the Kangs were going to start pulling that 616 apart because Tony was gone. So that was going to be one of the major cruxes of Kang Dynasty. But now that I don't know how they're going to handle it now that Kang Dynasty's gone, and it's going to be Doomsday. Which honestly, I wanted Kang Dynasty. I thought Kang Dynasty was, I don't. I think we talked about this last week. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I wanted that movie. I thought whether it had Jonathan Majors in it or not as Kang, I wanted it still. I was kind of excited to see where they were going with this. And now they're just doing an ass pull, bringing RDJ back and, changing it to Doctor Doom, which I think Doctor Doom could have been used elsewhere. And I think
I just don't know how they're going to wrap up the Kang storyline.
They technically already did. If you watch Loki season 2, they kind of did wrap up Kang. Like, if you look at it that way, like, and if you watch the end of Loki season 2, like, Kang's kind of no longer a thing. Because Victor Timely never becomes Kang. Yeah. So they kind of wrapped everything up in Loki season 2 so they could move away from it. And I was kind of like, oh, that's discouraging. So,
well, Disney and whatnot, and actually, no, it's not Disney in charge, is it? Is it? I can't remember.
Marvel, yeah. I mean, Disney owns Marvel.
It's so wibbly wobbly these days. You just don't know. But they dropped. Who is it? His name has just completely gone out of my head. Amber Heard and
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. That's it. They dropped him at the mere mention of impropriety. So then you have the main guy actually gets arrested, and I can't remember everything that's got going on around him. Of course, they're going to drop the character. Boom. They'll leave it 10 years and wait and find someone else to do it.
Or they'll just bring him back after all the heat dies down 10 years later. You know what I mean? Like, and look at RDJ. They brought RDJ had been literally to prison, and he came when he didn't come back, but they gave him the role, in which I don't have a problem with. As I said, he served his time. He did, he did it. He turned his life around, and he made himself.
But that was before he was involved with Disney.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, so he didn't really turn around, but like Disney did give him a second chance. And technically, it was Paramount.
Actually, technically, it was Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson told. In fact, Alec shared the. I don't know what award show it was, but he actually thanked Mel Gibson for giving him a second chance. Mel Gibson basically told him, "Look, find some faith. Basically, find something to live for, and I'll cast you in my next film." And he held up his bargain, his side of the bargain. So Mel Gibson held up his side as well. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how he got his second break.
Well, good.
And he's now become one of these absolutely fantastic actors because of it.
I mean, yeah, he's a great actor, but the problem is that a lot of his stuff outside of the MCU. I mean, I guess Oppenheimer he's really good in.
Yeah.
But I just like Dr. Dolittle, like really.
Oh, was he in Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah, wasn't that Dr. Dolittle the one that he was in? That was terrible. There was another movie he was in that was terrible.
Well, I saw the one with Robert Duvall, where he plays the son of the judge, and that was really good.
I don't think I've seen that one. He also, he did a good job as Sherlock too. So I guess it just depends on the material he's presented.
I love his Sherlock. Absolutely love his Sherlock. I want a third film.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, they wrapped up Moriarty pretty well though in the second one. So spoiler alert for a 10-year-old movie.
Yeah. Well, I think after it's been out for more than a year, that's the audience's problem if we spoiled it. I got accused of being a spoiler at a convention once with a bunch of friends. This bunch of friends, they all love Firefly. They all constantly reference Firefly all the time. They quote it every time I'm around them. There's at least a dozen Firefly quotes coming from all of them, right? So there's one day I'm starting to talk about the events in Serenity, and how Wash gets killed. I'm like, it's so sad the way it happens, blah, blah, blah. And then one of them pipes up going, "Oh, I've not seen that. You just spoiled it for me." I went, "Honey,
dumb fuck.
honey, it's 10 years old.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
It's a 10-year-old film.
Yeah,
That's
you don't
down
get-
to you.
You don't get sport. Yeah. What? We're not going to give away anything. You know.
Can't talk about
Yeah.
anything, guys.
No, there's always someone who's offended out there now.
Yeah, it's like,
And they're offended because you spoil it, not because it's offensive.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
like a 2-week. There's like a 2-week moratorium on spoiler. On spoilers. After 2 weeks, if you haven't seen it already, well, stay the fuck off the internet.
Or you didn't want to see it enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's me. Like, I'm like, I got to see something like the MCU the first weekend because I don't want to be spoiled. I don't go in blind, but I don't want to be spoiled of any of the big cameos, the big show up, stuff like that. So
Yeah, you know what? I'm exactly the same. I had to go and see this, and this is the first movie I've seen this year in the cinema.
Me too. I have not seen any other movies this year in the theater except for
because I knew that this would just blow up, and sure enough, within a day or two of me going to see it, because I went to see it last Tuesday, not this week, but last week, sorry. Within a couple of days, all the people who had managed to rip. I don't know where they're getting the footage from, but they've managed to rip it, and it's all over Facebook, Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, and everything. I'm yeah. So I did the right thing, and I went straight after work on Tuesday with my friend.
Yeah, I had someone who was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen all the best bits on Facebook Reels." I said, "No, you owe it to yourself to go see this movie, in its entirety. Go to the not the 4K, the XD showing. It is between the music and the ambient, and like I was glad. Like I went on Saturday after it came out, and there were still people in there just laughing and just people that it was that full like ambiance of just like everybody just enjoying the movie for what it was. You know what I mean? Like don't ruin it for yourself like that. Don't watch the clip show. Go and watch it if you want to watch it.
Yep, go and see it. We went to see it in an ordinary 2D cinema. In fact, I don't think it's available in 3D, is it?
I have no idea. I hate 3D. It gives me headaches.
3D. I hate it. Do people even? It's like
some movies are good.
Has passed as a fad. It's like
I know you still get them. I mean, some movies.
It's not like it's the big thing anymore. Not like
when they're shot for it, like Avatar. It was Avatar. In IMAX 3D. Holy crap! That was an experience.
I like
it was
IMAX.
So immersive.
I just don't like 3D. 3D,
I loved
it gives me a headache, and it doesn't even feel that great in my opinion.
Well, everybody's it's all down to eyesight and stuff like that. Some people can't hack it. My friend gets motion sick.
He
in
gets
3D movies.
Motion
yes,
sick
he does.
shitness.
Yep, he absolutely. Yep, he gets motion sick and shit. If it continues, he's a very strange guy. So we call it motion shitness, which is why that slipped out there. But no, I love it, and I loved Avatar when I went to see it in IMAX when it came out. I found myself ducking as the camera swings through the trees. As they're walking along when they first get into their avatars. There's trees coming at you, and I found myself ducking. It was that immersive. And I'd never experienced that
I went
before.
And saw Captain America, the First Avenger, with some buddies in 3D. It was the first time I had seen it. Huh?
Captain America was in 3D?
The First Avenger, yeah.
I think it was converted. See, there's your problem. You've gone to films that have been converted to 3D. You should.
All I know is that when Cap bounced the shield off of one of the tanks and it came right at the screen, I did that. I flinched. I'm like, oh my God. But no, I can't stand 3D. I think it's not worth. And as I said, maybe you're right. Maybe it's because I didn't see Avatar in 3D. Maybe if it wasn't made for 3D, but I still just don't like it. Don't think it's worth it. I'd rather watch it in IMAX.
Hey, that's fair enough. I mean, it worked for. I've tried to watch Avatar, on my normal screen, even though it's a massive 75-inch screen and I'm sitting less than 7 feet away from it. There's a long story behind it. I can't watch it in 2D. I've tried.
Wilhelm Saars. Question: The Neverending Story is remade / rebooted. Does anyone find this cringeworthy? I find the original Neverending Story cringeworthy. I hate that movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh, just count yourself lucky.
And mute Cheeto.
You know what? Whatever.
Hey, I grew up with that movie.
It's just
love
bad
it.
fantasy, in my opinion. It's just
yeah. You look back at it now, and it looks a bit on the cheesy side. I will admit.
Not even cheesy. It's just, for me, it's bad fantasy. I don't know. I can get down with like good fantasy, like, you know, but like just.
But there was someone going around with a horse's head around DragonCon one year, and what they'd do, they'd put the horse's head down on right way up on the floor, and then kneel and start crying. It was an Artex head, and they were Atreyu, and they just pretended the floor was the Swamp of Sorrows. It's like, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But yes, I fear for the remake. I know what they're going to do. They're going to. I'm going to sound terribly intolerant here, but it's not meant to be intolerant. It's meant to be, look, the story is good as is, just make it better. And what they're going to do is they're going to gender bend Bastian and Atreyu. Absolutely. They're now going to be female characters, most likely, and probably of color as well, which I don't have a problem with, but it'll be change for the sake of change. And it doesn't need to be changed.
We're going to switch and talk a little bit about Axanar. We had a screening at our studio this past weekend for what we called Axacon. It was our little friends and family. So on the bridge, we screened the next two episodes, the rough cuts, which were, you know, mostly no VFX and not composited or anything, but we did, and I will say that it got rousing applause. People loved it. We were, I think the best comment was, "Oh, CBS is going to be so pissed off," which is music to my ears, of course.
The second you upload them, they will be copyright struck.
No, they can't, because it's it's part of our settlement agreement. So
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, we're pre-butting it with YouTube anyway, so that doesn't happen. They can't. As a matter of fact, it would cause it would be a massive liability if they did that. We could sue them for millions of dollars, probably. Because
they would be in breach of settlement, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they sure would, and we'd win that in a heartbeat. It'd be open and shut case. So, but here's I shared this. I think I shared this previously, but I'm going to. Oops, let me do this. We also had a shoot last month, and and here's a shot from that shoot. This is both for a Daedalus, and you may well see Nadia here in Axanar. I sent some footage off. We had to record a line for Axanar just because she looked so good. And that was a blue cage costume, courtesy of Paul Osborne. And he made blue cage costumes for himself and his daughter. And his daughter is pretty slight. You've seen her in both Icarus Maneuver and Interlude. And but she was his daughter was, I think, up in Alaska at school still. So we got the costume. I was like, the only actress I knew who could fit in it was Nadia. She had been an extra for us before, so she came in. She's a big Star Trek fan, and so she did some stuff for Daedalus, and we had her shoot something for Axanar.
Nice.
So there you go. So yeah, it looks great. You know, we're very, very happy with that. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, the bridges
lit up so nicely.
Yeah, it was. Everyone was very happy with what they saw of Axanar. So looking forward to releasing it. So So there you go. Boom. I'll stop that. So I don't know what else. What else is new, guys? I've been working on the store, which and we've got a new product coming to help relaunch the store too. Well, not our new product. It's I don't even have it here, but at one point we made these really cute little die-cast wood USS Ares models, and we're gonna be releasing those again.
Cool.
So
they flew off the shelf last time, didn't they not?
Yeah, we sold out of them. So anyway, I contacted the guy. I mean, this was 10 years ago. So I contacted the guy and I said, "Hey, you still got the files?" And he was like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, give me X number." And so, and he also had he had made a Geronimo too. I didn't even keep one of the Geronimos for myself. So I'm excited to get one of those. So yeah, we'll have both of those. The store it's probably ready for testing this week. Stumblerucks. Yeah, we should make a 2025 calendar, especially since Axanar is going to be out. Maybe we'll make a 2025 calendar with Axanar images.
Can we wear our Starfleet Speedos and be in it?
No.
Oh. So it's not one of those calendars.
Not one of those calendars. Yeah, no. The nerds of Star Trek Axanar. I'm sure we'll do a calendar this year. We didn't do one this year, 2024, and that was just dealing with CBS was oppressive this past year. And I think I don't think we're going to have to worry about those about lobes and lobes anymore. We'll see. And Axanar is coming out this year.
Yay! Are we still doing the drinking games? And as soon as someone asks when Axanar's coming out?
No, we're not. But we should have. Yeah, I'm trying to think if anyone's worthy of getting an award this week. I'm sure.
Can I get the award of most offensive comment? Because I can win that one.
No, we usually give this award out.
Yeah, go frack yourself.
But I don't think that. I don't think that's correct. Correct for this situation. However,
no. It's usually someone in the haters group that deserves that award.
Sign up for the newsletter, which is scrolling at the bottom, and you'll know as and when things are happening. Nah, that's funny.
Yeah, and so Orville.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Orville.
Yeah.
Also, what I heard was, which I think is illustrative, is that they're going to start in January. That doesn't mean they're going to start shooting in January. They're going to start pre-production in January.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is nothing happens until third or fourth quarter of next year.
And we probably won't see anything on our screens until 2026, most likely.
And I mean, the production, if the production value is as good as season 3, they're going to have a long post-production schedule because season 3 was so beautiful and good.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you just know that that all those sets were struck and so they'll need to build all the sets again. So
I know, which is amazing.
It's going to take a while.
I don't understand why. Maybe you can explain it to me. I don't. Why do they tear down sets and stuff like that? Like when they're clearly not done with a show. Like I mean, I know back in the Paramount.
Well, the studio space needs to be used.
Yeah, okay. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to rent that studio space.
Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the day, they would take the sets down, but store them. But these days, it just gets thrown away.
I figure it would cost so much money to rebuild sets. You know what
I
mean? It does. Like, I see if the show's canceled, tear it down. But
I'm sure a lot of stuff got thrown in storage. You can bet that all the physical shuttle sets were thrown in storage. I'm sure all the furnishings, the engine core, the bridge sets, I'm sure a lot of that stuff was thrown in storage. But rebuilding the walls and all the walls, all that stuff's got to come down because they got to rent that studio to someone else. And especially with Orville, see, like when they were doing Discovery, they would wrap a season, but they knew they were coming back the next year. Mm-hmm. So they would just rent the studio and it would stay empty for 4 months or 5 months or 6 months or whatever it was. And they would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for empty, for not using the space. Mm-hmm. With Orville, it was quite possible there was never going to be another Orville again. So there you go. So let's see what is.
Yeah, hey dude, you didn't cause any offense. We were just having a laugh. Just in case you're new to this,
yes, Steve, don't worry about
just in case you're new to this, there's always someone that asks when's Axanar coming out. Some of them are actually long-time fans, and they just know that they'll get a reaction out of us for asking it. It's all in fun. Don't worry.
Yeah. Jen's.
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
We're working on the script. Dana and I. It's near the top of our list right now. So believe me, Tom, I was working on it this morning. So yes, yes, we probably will. We will definitely have our Orville fan film out before season 4 starts. I think I've told this story before. You're talking about just tearing down sets. So in 2009 or 2008, when I got up to, God, it's been 16 years. When I got up to Battlestar Galactica, when I got up to that set, oh my God, I was a young 48 at the time. I was getting a tour of the sets. It was like my first day by Rob, the construction coordinator, was walking me around and showing me around. And he showed me like the corridor, and then we went next door and he showed me the bridge set. And I was like, wait a second. How did you do the shot in the opening shot of the pilot? It's not the opening shot, but the first shot after the credits of Starbuck running around, and she runs into Adama, and Adama peels off and walks into the bridge, into CIC. I said, how do you do that shot? That was one continuous shot.
It was.
It was one continuous shot. I said, the hallways in that building and the bridges and the CICs in this building. How do you do it? And he said, we weren't on this studio lot when we shot that. That was the miniseries, which was shot across the harbor.
Of course, yes.
At North Vancouver Studios. And he said, and I said, well, you threw everything in storage? He goes, yep. He goes, everything went in storage in anticipation of the series being sold. And then they sold it.
They knew what they had on their hands.
They pulled it out of storage and rebuilt it all.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
and the good thing about that is if anything got scuffed or damaged during storage, that just added to the ambience because Galactica was
everything was beat up.
I loved that series for the fact that there's so much detail in the sets. The phones that you see them every now and then pick up from the wall are actually World War II sound-powered phones from the U.S. Navy and submarines and whatnot.
Yep.
That's attention to detail. And of course, Ronald D. Moore was the head guy. So of course, it was going to be a good show.
Yeah. Yep. So, all good. It's interesting. So there you go. There's a little Battlestar Galactica trivia. We spent 3 months up there at that studio, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. It was one of the great experiences of my life, culminating in 2 amazing auctions.
Here's a little question for you. There's probably more than one person, but I'm aware of one person who connects TNG, DS9, new Battlestar, and the Orville.
Well, Drexler.
There
Oh
you
no,
go.
no, that's not right. Drexler did not work on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, he did. He was the scenic artist.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah.
In
No,
TNG, he was the makeup guy.
he didn't
and
work
then,
on Voyager.
Yeah,
He didn't work on Voyager.
He
didn't
was
work
the
on that.
makeup.
That was the one he didn't work on.
He's actually
He went
also
from
got
TNG to Deep Space Nine to Enterprise.
correct.
Yeah. And
then
well,
was and
just
then
for
was
that matter, yeah, because the Okudas didn't work on Battlestar.
No.
But Gary Hutzel is another one. Gary Hutzel worked on all those shows.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Yeah. There you go. Hey,
I
Frank
wouldn't want
Parker.
to work on Voyager either.
Who?
I said I wouldn't want to work on Voyager either.
Oh, stop being a hater. That show actually had some good episodes. There was some really, really outstanding
there was
episodes.
some good stuff.
I still think the finale was rushed. We needed to see more of when Voyager comes back back through into this Alpha Quadrant. Just her flying off with all the other ships in formation with her, and then credits. It just seemed cheap.
I agree.
We got cheated. I mean, it was nice that they brought back Alice Krieg to be the Borg Queen.
Yeah,
that didn't expect that because she's a movie actor.
Mm-hmm.
You don't often. She was probably one of the first movie actors to actually go and do a TV series. I'm sure. I mean, these days you get them all because they film them all in one big massive chunk, like a movie, and then the way they cut them up, you've got 10 episodes. But so you get movie actors in series now, but back then it was unheard of.
Or
so
guest appearances.
We just fit. Anyone else watching House of the Dragon?
I am not. Zam on NerdTube as he really enjoyed it. He thinks it's amazing.
Yeah,
I have not
really
watched
good.
it. I don't like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, House of the Dragon was really good. I was very impressed.
Me and my friend, we went to the Rings of Power way.
Yeah, I have not seen that, and I don't know. I'm just not motivated to see that either.
Honestly, it's not bad. Like there. We actually reviewed it, and I watched it. I love Lord of the Rings. There is a purist sect out there of Tolkien fanatics. I don't want to call them fanatics because they're not fanatics. They really want what Tolkien's universe, like specifically says. And whether the movies or the shows take creative liberties, they really take offense to that. So, so they were really hot against Rings of Power because they took some creative liberties. I actually dug way into the Tolkien lore. I dug really far into the Tolkien lore when watching Rings of Power season 1 because I was interested. I was seeing all this backlash on the show, and I'm like, why? Like, I get it's a slow burn, but I'm like, there's that much hate, and then I realized it's just there are some real like Tolkienites that just really want it to be the exact same as the books and the Silmarillion and all of Tolkien's. And that's just not how it's going to work. We know how that is.
No. Yeah, you can't convert a book 1-to-1 into a film because it just won't work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why so much is missing from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and no one can say that those films are crap. Oh, some people will because
I was going to say there are some people that will, but
because it doesn't have Tom Bombadil and
it doesn't have Tom Bombadil. I'd say that's their biggest point is Tom Bombadil.
Yes,
who's that?
Yeah, exactly. He's inconsequential to the story.
He really is. Really. Like he's a fun character, but he's very inconsequential if you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I've not even read the books, and even I know he didn't need to be in the films, so he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's always it's just like in Star Trek right now. Some people hate Kurtzman Trek, as they call it, because it's not true to the original.
Honestly,
yes.
They can't say it's not true to the original because it is. Strange New Worlds is certainly true to the original.
Yeah, in their mind, because Discovery wasn't, they've not watched anything else.
Yeah.
They won't watch it. One of my friends, his dad refused point blank to watch Enterprise when it first came out. I remember having a discussion with him before we saw the first series. I'd seen the trailers for it, and I liked the idea of going back to the beginning before Kirk. And he's like, nope, 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 nope. That's not my Trek. It's not Kirk. It's not Picard. I went, yeah. A lot of people hated TNG because it's not Kirk and co.
A lot of TNG was met with. I mean, the internet wasn't around back then.
No,
so
letter writing.
You didn't hear a lot of, but I mean, there were writing campaigns against TNG, and it turned out to be 5,000 times better than the original series. I'm sorry, like the original series, I respect as because it started the whole thing, and it's I'm not saying it's garbage, but TNG is so much better than TOS in my opinion. So.
I would agree. It's miles. One could also say light years better than TOS. But yeah, you're always going to get haters when something new comes along that's based on an established.
Well, I mean, look at the hate that DS9 got because it was on a space station. It wasn't
that's
boldly going. We're boldly staying, and I'm like, it's pretty bold to actually stay in one place and try to make a good story. You realize that, right?
Honestly, when I first heard about it, and I was like, that's going to be boring. That's going to be rubbish. But I watched it anyway, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I still don't think Sisko's the best captain in the universe, but he's a good character, and DS9 was good. But yeah, there was haters going, yeah, that's crap. It hasn't got a starship, hasn't got the Enterprise.
Oh yeah, I hate people that say that. I'm like, I'm done with the Enterprise. I want other ships. I want that's why I was so mad when they turned the Titan A into the Enterprise. I'm like, I was like, I love the idea of like following this other ship that is not the Enterprise, and then you just turn it into the Enterprise. And I'm like,
why is it the Titan A? Why did it?
Because it got refit like and now it got
fuck.
refit and now that means it gets an A because Discovery got refit and got an A. They completely
it's not
forgot
even
the
close
fact
to the same ship.
Yeah,
and someone was like, they took in what they explained it in a book or something, and it's like, they took the computer core. What bullshit? I mean, there's just and what does neo-constitution mean? What the fuck does that mean? It's just
it's very trendy because it's or new age because it's neo in front of it.
Metalis likes the Connie class, and
don't get me started on the Connie class, guys.
How can we make that? How can we use the Constitution class in the next series? There's this fan who's made this ship. It's about half the size of a Constitution class. But what we'll do, we'll scale it so it's almost the same size as a Galaxy class, and we won't change any of the external features. And then we'll just put an A on the registry. Nominal no. That's the one thing I hate about.
It looks so slipshod. It just looked like no one actually paid attention.
No,
and like you got John Eves on staff. Why have John design a new ship for fuck's sake? Why you pay? I mean, John's the master.
The design is nice.
He did the E. He didn't do the F, and the F looks like shit in my book. So have him do the G. Have him do an entirely new ship.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the design of the Titan A. It's actually quite nice for the era it was designed for, which is motion picture to undiscovered country. It works perfectly. It's scaled beautifully for that. Bill Krause, who designed it, is a fantastic designer.
Not for Picard time frame.
No.
Yeah, no. That's what I kind of wanted from the end of Picard season 3. Is I mean I wanted them to keep it the Titan A and then maybe reveal the new Enterprise G, because not a Neo Constitution class, but a new ship class. Make it the Picard class and then make it the Enterprise G.
Or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then it'd be just like this new ship, like I'd have been fine with that. And if you want to do Legacy and you want to do it on the Titan, if you want to do it on the ship that they did Picard season 3 on, then Legacy can be on the Titan A. If you want to give Seven her own ship and give her the Enterprise, then put her on that new Enterprise G.
Or give her the Stargazer.
Absolutely.
Give her the Stargazer, the new Stargazer.
The Stargazer is still kicking around, and the bridge of the Titan was basically a redressed Stargazer bridge. You know, in the best traditions of Star Trek, they just took an existing bridge and
the bridge.
It was fantastic. You know, and you didn't even mind that they did it. You know, you didn't mind that they did it at all, and that I loved that. You know, and but I do mind that they renamed the Titan, because one, that pisses on the Titan's efforts.
Its legacy.
And two, it pisses on the Enterprise's legacy, because the Enterprise has always, you know, since Kirk's days, has always been the tip of the spear when it comes to ship class. You know, one of the first Excelsior classes, one of the first Ambassador classes, one of the first Galaxy classes, one of the first Sovereign classes, and now a renamed garbage scow.
Yep.
You know, it just pisses on the name, and they got so much right. It just annoys me that they just got that so obviously wrong. I'm like, did no one once think, hey, Drexler, because Drexler was around, say, Drexler, we're thinking about doing this. What would you say? Drexler would have gone, no.
It's not a good starship unless it has 14 nacelles on it. That's what I say.
Connect all the warp cores.
Yeah. No, again, just give them the Stargazer, for Christ's sake.
The Stargazer would have been an awesome Titan.
Yeah.
You know, or you even have the Titan A destroyed during her efforts of Picard season 3, and have a Stargazer Titan B come out.
Well, and that's why I think the reason why they rechristened the Titan, the original Titan, to the Titan A was because I thought they said it was damaged like really badly, and so they just upgraded it and blah blah blah, and then they made it into a Neo Constitution class or something like that. That's what I thought the reason was. That
yes, that's the reason why she was refit, but a refit doesn't change the entire structure of a ship.
Yes,
right?
I agree, because
that's not a refit.
Because
if you salvage parts from one ship to another, that's not a refit. Refit is you take the original ship and you put new engines on it. You put new panels on it. You put a new warp core in it.
I.e. the motion picture.
A new bridge and a new engine. Okay. But it's not a refit when you totally change the ship.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean the
and I don't understand why listen, this is a writing issue. Why the fuck did they need to put that in the script? It did nothing for anything. It's whoever's writing that episode. It's like, that's not what no, you can't say that. It's like when I was working with that last idiot who's, you know, from a few years ago, who was directing, and he put things in the script, and I go, you can't do that. That's not Star Trek, right? You just, and that's how I feel about whoever wrote that episode. It's like, why do you need to say refit? Why do you need to say Neo Constitution? Why do you need to say that stuff? It doesn't advance the story. It just complicates shit.
It started with season. Yeah, it started with season 2 when people. I don't know whether it was the intent or not, but Picard comes on. He's on the Stargazer. You know, which is obviously a completely different ship to the original. Yes. And he says these refits are looking quite good, or something that and everybody thinks, oh, that's the original Constellation class that's been refit. No, it's a completely new ship.
Right. Yeah, Eric, you need to rewind this video to get. That's what we've been talking about here.
Yeah.
Listen, it's kind. You know, back when they called the Enterprise, you know, the motion picture was a refit of the Enterprise. It's almost like, not really, because everything changed on that ship. But we're going to give you it. We're going to give you that one
because the overall structure was roughly the same.
Roughly the same. But let's face it, pylons are different, nacelles are different, the secondary hull's different, the primary hull's different. There was nothing similar on the two ships, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah. Have you seen
programmable matter, right?
Have you seen what someone did? Someone actually did. Some fan actually did a video showing the Enterprise coming into space stock and getting refit. And basically, they take the hull panels off, add the extra structure, and put new hull panels on. So it is, you know, filming, there was no reason for them to film this process for the motion picture. You just saw the completed one. But
Right.
I like that idea. So yes, it's original. It's the same concept design basically, but the Titan was a catamaran style ship. That's what they call them, catamaran style. The saucer with a catamaran hull, and then the nacelles, just like the Akira class. And then now it's a traditional saucer, underslung secondary hull, and then
It's totally different.
upward swung pylons.
Yeah.
It's a completely different ship. I mean, if they'd turned it upside down and then maybe, but it's a completely different ship. And yeah, it annoys me.
What can you do?
They got so much right, and then they got that clanger
mean,
wrong.
like let's, in the alternate future of all good things, the Enterprise, the Enterprise X class with the 3 nacelles, with the photonic, or the photonic phaser on the bottom. I don't know. That's what I always think of. I know
phaser lance.
Oh, the phaser lance. I always think the photonic phaser because it looks exactly like what the Doctor was talking about on in his episode when he was trying to psych out the one race. He's like, fire the photonic phaser, and like the way it shoots and everything. I'm like, I wonder if that's what the Enterprise X had, or the Galaxy X class had. But
it's the Galaxy S is the first ship I saw in Trek that I just went, what the fuck have they done to the Enterprise?
Yeah, and Stephen Ross's comment here is a good one. The Super Hornet is an entirely new plane. It just kind of looks like an F-18 Hornet.
Yeah,
it is
completely new.
If you look at the profiles, if you look at the front views, you're like, that's a different plane. And it really is.
It's bigger.
It's bigger.
Taller.
Everything's different on
wider.
It. Yeah, it just looks like an F-18. But there you go, phaser lance. Okay.
Yeah, but it was a phaser lance, and I'm sure I read somewhere Andy Probert, the guy who designed the Enterprise D, not liking it. I'm absolutely certain that someone was talking to him about it and asked him about it, and he says, "They done my girl dirty," something like that. I mean, I understand why they did it, so that you can say, this is the future Enterprise.
Yeah, there's a big gun on it. It's the future.
It's the future.
It's the Republican Enterprise, baby. It's got a big gun on it.
The Second Amendment Enterprise. All right, listen, I've got to move on because Mark just uploaded new edits of Axanar, so I've got to review them. We just added there's subtle changes, but I got to change that. Then the VFX are being dropped in, so I've got to review it. But we are at our 1 hour limit. So thank you all. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Alexander, Cheeto, live long and prosper, my friends. We will see everyone maybe this weekend. If not this weekend, we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right, guys. Take care.
See.